Good.
Good evening. Welcome to Kindergarten Parent Orientation. Your children are the class of 2033. Think about that for a minute. Anyway, it seems so far away, but it's really not. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming tonight. As you know, things have been a little different. We typically do this in May, usually May, June. But because the schools are closed, of course, we couldn't. And so we wanted to be able to have you here tonight so that way you feel a little more comfortable with what's going on. I have a wonderful staff. I am Catherine McFadden, I am the principal. With me tonight I have Mr. Picarello, our assistant superintendent, and Mr. Di Benedetto, our superintendent, and they joined us for the evening. So, we're really, really happy to have you. I'm sorry that we could not accommodate your children. Governor Murphy kind of tells us what we can and cannot do, and we could not have more than 100 people in this room. In addition, my apologies for not having a live PowerPoint for you, but if I did, I was going to have to remove 4 seats. I counted it out. And if people wanted to come and they weren't able to sit because of the PowerPoint, I personally just didn't feel that was fair. And I always look at everything as a parent. I am a parent. My son is now in college. But I do remember those days when he was little, and I always want to be fair. So I actually do have a PowerPoint for you in your packet. There's all sorts of things for you in that folder. But the front says, welcome to Durban Avenue's Kindergarten Orientation Class of 2033. We are not going to go through this entire PowerPoint tonight. There's no reason to. You are more than capable of reading on your own. But I am going to highlight some of these slides for you, because I'm sure you have some questions. So first of all, on the second page, Durban Avenue, kindergarten and first grade hours. AM drop-off begins at 8:15. I was pretty detailed in the letter I sent you. That letter had so much information, and I'm sorry. It's just, I had to get it all out to you somehow, and that letter was a really good way to do it. So what you'll do if you're dropping your child off, you'll pull around the circle, as many of you did. I can even see some of you parked in those spots, which is good. But when you drop off in the morning, you pull around the circle, you pull to the curb, and you let your child off. There will be staff out there to greet your children, as well as our school resource officer, Officer George. So just follow his directions. He's really good at giving them, and you'll be all set. If the buses come through while you're driving off, we may ask you to stop driving for a minute so we can get the buses in. The buses are on a very tight schedule. When they leave us, they go to other districts. So we have to be able to get the kids off the bus and the bus is on the way. Big thank you to our bus drivers, especially one of our kindergarten parents who is one of our bus drivers, because they do an amazing job. If you choose to drop your kids off and pick them up, what we're asking is that you write a note. Even if you filled out the survey, write a note for the first day of school. Many parents have changed their minds one way or the other or back and forth, which is fine. But it's kind of hard for us to keep track at this point as to who's doing what. So if you could, on the first day of school, if you are picking up your child at the end of the day, write us a note. If your child is going to Alpha Fest, write us a note. That way we know, and we'll put you on a list of pickup. So we have our hours there. My mask keeps sliding off, this is not good. I have our kindergarten teachers listed below. Some of them are actually here in the building tonight. They did not have to stay. They've been really busily working. Our building is not totally ready yet, but we have one more day, so we're going to be totally ready by tomorrow. No, we really will. It's amazing what happens overnight here. But like when we take you on a little tour of some of the rooms and stuff, not all the bulletin boards might be up. That's okay, they will be tomorrow. But we really have a lot going on, and our teachers have done a phenomenal job getting the building ready, as have the custodians. We're very, very lucky here. Moving on to our curriculum. Readers and Writers Workshop. You'll learn a lot about that from your children. We are very, very excited. We now have a phonics program called Foundations. The teachers are spending their entire day tomorrow in a workshop for Foundations. They're learning the ins and outs of it, how to use it, what to do with it. But this is something that we've wanted for a long time, and your children are going to be the first to experience it. Yay! It's a big deal to us. And for science, we use the Mystery Science program. You're also going to probably spend quite a bit of time with that, because science may be one of the activities, some of the time, that's done at home outside of our 4-hour in-school day. Please understand, this sounds crazy. Those 4 hours they are not the end of your child's day. When your child goes home or wherever they're going, they're going to have lunch, they're going to play outside because that's a typical recess, but then they're also going to be provided activities to do at home to round out their school day. Math is very important. Language arts, very important. Science, very important too, but if you don't have the math and the reading background that we can help to provide to you, you're not going to be able to do the science and social studies. So we are going to concentrate on language arts and math during that 4-hour day. If you are a science or social studies person out there, forgive me. My father is a scientist. He would kill me. But he also understands that if they can't read, they can't do it. So you may be experiencing a lot of mystery science at home. They have experiments. They have a whole online portion. They're awesome. That is also officially new to us this year, although we used it last year as well and loved it. You will see in your packet, you don't have to take it out, but you have something that looks like this. This is the standards-based report card that we do use. It's not the actual report card. You can see the actual report card on the homepage, the Durban Ave homepage, but this explains it. We just want you to have some information about it. Now, unfortunately, this didn't copy very well, which is really upsetting. But the first little picture is two people, actually, and it's stick figures. I had to write down what it says, because there's no way from two stick figures you were going to be able to figure it out. And what that child was trying to say is, now you're driving in the car. Then the next picture they did is, we went to the beach. Again, no words, no letters. That's okay for September kindergarten. We're not expecting them to be able to come in and write novels. We start with pictures. Then, if you go to the next one, it's a little harder, it's a little easier to see, but it's still kind of hard to read. They actually do have full words there. That's by March. So by March, they're writing full sentences, and usually more than one sentence. We're aiming for 2 to 3. By the end of the year, we expect that from our kindergartners. So they're actually able to go in kindergarten from the drawing stage to 1 sentence to 3 sentences. Again, spelling may not be perfect. We don't expect it to be perfect. As teachers, a lot of the time, we won't correct the spelling because we want them to sound it out. Try and start to figure that out. Play with the sounds. That's really important for them. This is where they're developing those skills. So, if the spelling's not perfect and you see that at home, it's okay. You can always say to them, what other letter makes that sound? But if you don't, that's okay. You don't have to fix it. All right, so I know as a parent, my poor son, I was like, that's not how you spell it. Let me help you spell it. Yeah, I probably did more harm than good. He's okay. I think. So next slide is AlphaBest. There's a lot of information about AlphaBest actually on our website too. If you go to the Durban page, under important links, there's AlphaBest. You can click on it. AlphaBest is held here in school. It is not done by the school. It is an outside company that uses our facility. There's a lot of information about that. Your children are going A weeks and B weeks. Okay, so they've been assigned a letter. AlphaBest is providing a program. I have to be honest, it's not inexpensive. Okay, it is costly, but they are providing a program for the week that your child is not in school. It will be at the high school, and they will do the virtual learning with them through the day if you're a working parent, and then provide them with the after-school activities. So that is an option for you as a parent, because I have to tell you, I understand, as does Mr. Picarello and Mr. DiBenedetto, we understand how hard this is. Okay, this is not what anybody wanted. I didn't want a pandemic. They didn't want a pandemic. But we're doing the best we can to make sure that your children are cared for and that you have options. So if you need something like that, go on our website and take a look. Okay, transportation. How many of you are stressed about transportation? Be honest. Yeah, it's okay. A lot of parents get stressed about transportation. You're putting your child possibly on a bus for the first time if that's what you're choosing. And that's a lot. You know, it's hard to let your child go, I understand that. Tonight, hopefully around 7:30, maybe 8 o'clock, I will be pushing out a video to you like I have of some of the other videos. And this is of me giving a tour on one of our home halftime buses. Please don't judge me on it. I did the best I could. I even told the students that you have to wear a mask. When I showed the video to my family, they said, seriously, did you have to like pause and point? They're like, don't you think they get it? You're wearing a mask. But I really walked it through. They have to sit on the bus, all of that stuff. So I will be pushing a video out to you later tonight after all this is done. So that way, if you choose to show it to your child, you can. You don't have to. It is about the bus. So anyway, for transportation, please be at the bus stop 10 minutes before your assigned pickup time. If for some reason your child has to be returned to school because you're not there to pick up your child, there is a $25 fee, okay? That's not a fee coming from us, it's actually a fee coming from our bus company because it then holds them up as they continue to go through their day. So please, please, please be at the bus stop. The bus driver will not, absolutely will not let your child off unless you are there, or someone that you designate. Okay, there's going to be no kindergarten child that gets off the bus with nobody there. So if that's a worry, put that out of your head. They're fantastic. They always make sure somebody is there.
Do you have to let the school know who the designated adult is at the bus stop?
Yep, so we can let the driver. And what we do is we send them with these little cards that say, you know, change or something, and that way the bus driver knows. Because then the bus driver won't flip off if they don't recognize the person. Of course, no eating or drinking is allowed on the bus, which is going to be really hard to do anyway. They're wearing masks. We're going to try and keep them as far apart as possible on the bus, but we only have about 35% of our students who will be riding the bus this year. So if you plan on sending your child to the bus, that shouldn't be a problem. So there's a lot of information in the transportation slide. It's very tiny. Read it when you have time. Okay, walkers and after-school pickups. We're going to dismiss our walkers / personal transportation, which is what you are if you're picking your child up, at 12:25. What will happen, your child will come down to this room, they will be socially distanced. By Thursday morning, there will be green dots on the floor. You'll see them when we take a tour of the building. They're just not in here yet. And everybody will be assigned to a dot. Then you'll come to the front door. I'll have staff at the front door. They're going to card you the first couple of days. Okay, because we need to make sure it's the right person with the right child. We're very strict about that. We'll check, unless we already know you. We'll check that out, and then we'll release your child to you. So it's not like we're just going to open the doors of the school and say, bye kids, have a good day. We're actually going to make sure that the right child goes with the right parent. If there needs to be a change, you know, you have to have someone else pick up your child or whatever, you need to alert the main office through a note, okay? Please don't email us. I know that sounds funny in the age of technology, but if the school secretary is absent and you email us, nobody gets it. And I wouldn't want your child to go on the bus if you wanted to pick them up. So please just send in a hard note to the teacher. Any questions about that? Yes?
So when they're waiting down here, your siblings have to social distance?
Yeah. We're gonna keep everybody social distance. We can get them dots next to each other.
Can you do that?
Yeah, of course. Not a problem. Okay, like I said, we have an SRO. His name is George Catley. He's fantastic. He's so good with the kids and they love him. Officer George has been with us now. He was with us all last year, and when we unexpectedly moved into the middle school, when Hudson Maxim gave up on us, he was at the middle school, so we kind of stole him from the middle school, which was wonderful. But he is wonderful with his age group. He goes into the classrooms. He won't be doing this year, but he used to give kids fist bumps for social distancing, no fist bumps. But he's really, really good, and it works really well having him here. It's also nice to have him here for security issues, as I'm sure you can imagine. So he has a really good relationship, and he starts that relationship with the kids early so that they know that the police are somebody they can turn to. So that's a really good thing, and he's very good. You'll meet him. If you come to school for anything, you'll meet him. Okay, preparing your child for school. You need to be positive about school, even if you have so many apprehensions, because it is your baby, it is a pandemic, it is a new building, I'm a new person to you, and something else is going on in your world too. All of that weighs on you. If it's weighing on you, it may start to weigh on your child too, whether you know it or not. So at least pretend in front of them that everything's good. There are all sorts of books that you can read. Curious George in the First Day of School. Clifford Goes to Kindergarten. I mean, there are so many different books. So just find a book, even if you go to pick up a book like next weekend after school has started, just to keep that happy feeling going. It's really what you want to do. You want your child to become happy every day when they come to school. We want them to be happy, and ultimately, believe it or not, we want you to be happy too. So please keep up those positive thoughts. Okay, the next bunch of slides I am not going to go over. I am going to say to you though, with these, it's about 3 pages of things you can do with your child. Typically when we do this in May, it gives you all summer to practice those things. But these are things that you can do with your child because they're going to be home with you for some of the time. Or they're going to be somewhere some of the time when they're not here at school. Things like playing with sounds. Have them rhyme in the car. I'm going to say, cat, you change the first letter. What word can you make? It doesn't matter whether it's a real word or a made-up word. They're just playing with sounds. So have them play as much as they can. If you like to go outside, I have to admit I like to go outside. Have them create letters using sticks. Every child in the school is getting chalk. 3 pieces of chalk, sidewalk chalk. We bought about 3,000 pieces of chalk this summer. We've individually bagged them all with their names on it so they won't touch each other's. But have them use chalk. Have them play with chalk outside. Write, draw. Use all of those fine motor and gross motor skills that they need in order to draw. Have them pretend they're a letter. I'm not going to embarrass myself and do it in front of you, but have them pretend that they're the letter A, and they have to use their whole body to show you how to be a letter A. All of those things are developmentally appropriate and really good for them. So please do those things. As a parent, you don't have to raise your hand with this, you don't even have to acknowledge it. How many of you are a little leery of giving your child scissors? You may have reasons for that. They may have cut somebody's hair. They may have cut the dog's hair. They may have cut your favorite rug. I mean, scissors can really be quite a tool if you let them. So I know that scissors sometimes are a little scary for us as adults. Kids love scissors for all the reasons I just mentioned. But we do expect them in school to use scissors. We expect them to cut things. And we expect them to be able to hold them. So if you are somebody that would prefer for your child not to use scissors at home, I request that you get over that quickly and that you let them start to use scissors. It sounds so funny, but a lot of our students come and they really haven't used scissors. And then we're asking them to do matching activities where they have to cut something out and match, but they're not sure how to cut. So even if you haven't started yet, you have plenty of time. We don't start school for a couple days. Give them some scissors. So there are all sorts of activities like that in here, ways to write in the bathroom, shower stall, write letters, things. We just want them to have fun. All of those activities are really good for them, and they're learning as they do them. So please, please let them start to do some of these activities. Okay, flipping through. HEPTA, that's our parent-teacher organization. Please join if possible. They do all sorts of things for us. They are fantastic. These moms and dads really take care of everything that we need. They're just incredible. I don't have enough wonderful things to say. Typically, now remember we're not in a typical year, okay? But typically, they provide assemblies for our students, an author visit, they coordinate field day and fun day, they Books and Beyond, a book fair, a holiday boutique. Right now, I can't promise any of that to you or to your children, so I won't bring it up to the kids, don't worry. But they really do a lot, and they're always looking for volunteers. So if you're willing to volunteer, they'll take you for anything you want to volunteer for. So consider it, please. Next, we have a fantastic guidance counselor. Her name is Mrs. Scheffenhauer. If your child has trouble the first day, some students do. It's usually moms that have more trouble than the children. But if your child is having trouble the first day, she will go over, and she is like a little people whisperer. She will get them in that building. And there are times where we'll look at you and say, is it okay if we help your child in the building? Sometimes kids don't want to go. They just have other plans for that day in their head. And if you say yes, Mrs. Scheffenhauer and I will help that child get to the building. So she is one of the kindest people I know, and she will call you. If your child is having a bad day, or if you stop us when you're dropping your child off and say, hi, good morning, got up on the wrong side of the bed, don't know what happened, then wouldn't eat breakfast, like you go through the whole list of the ways the morning was bad and you tell her, well, after the child comes in, she'll check on the child a couple of times, and then she'll almost always call you and say, it's okay. Or if your child's still having trouble, sometimes it happens, she'll have the child call you, but sometimes hearing your voice helps. We try and minimize that because that sometimes becomes a crutch for the children, but certainly we will do anything we can to make your child feel better. I know we're not supposed to give hugs, I know. And we're in a pandemic, I know. But I have to tell you, if a child comes up to me and gives me a hug, I'm not gonna stop them at first. And then I'll say to them, okay, thank you for that, but remember, we're supposed to stay apart. You can't do that anymore. So we're gonna constantly teach them how to do these things. If a child randomly comes up and gives me a hug, I'll probably call you that day and say, just so you know, your child gave me a hug. Please don't be alarmed, I didn't hug back. But as a mom and dad, you have the right to know that. But we will call you for all sorts of happy things, sad things, in between things, good things, bad things. You'll get a lot of communication from us. Because everybody, I think, on my staff is now a parent, oh, except for 2. Almost everybody's a parent. And we all know that we would want the communication for us. So that's how we would treat your child as well. So if you get a call from the school, if I call you and say, hi, it's Catherine McFadden, the principal of Durban Ave, please don't panic. It could actually be something good. We are a bucket filling school. There is a book, Have You Filled a Bucket Today? That book is about being a bucket filler, not a bucket dipper. So what you want to do is you want to have a pretend bucket where you always fill it. And you fill it by saying nice things, good things, kind things. If you say something not nice, it's like taking something out of the bucket. That's how you're a bucket dipper. So you're going to hear your child say, I was a bucket filler today. You'll see bucket filling signs around the school. You'll probably see them around town, because we usually do a poster contest around town. So if you see that, that is what that is about. Okay, there are a whole bunch of resources here if you want books to share with your child. Before I get to my last part of this, before the tour, which I know you all really want, just a number of things about what's different. Okay, certainly we're social distancing. When we take a tour in the hallway, you're going to see green dots on the floor. They're 6 feet apart. Before your students come in on Thursday, there's actually going to be a red line that runs down the hallway to make sure that half keep on one side and half stay on the other side. It's not there yet, but I'm telling you, things are going to magically appear after you leave tonight. In the classrooms, they're still building them, but we have plexiglass partitions on our kindergarten tables, so you'll see some of those that are there already. We have all sorts of different things. The water fountains themselves, where you lean over and drink, those have been turned off. We don't want children's mouths touching against somebody else because they're kids. And although we tell them all the time as moms and dads, don't put your mouth on that. Keep that off of your face. Don't touch that and put it in your mouth. They're kids, and they can't help it. So we're trying to minimize some of that, just so you're aware. They do have bottle filling stations, though, in the back. So if you send a water bottle in, that can be refilled, okay? So nobody has to touch anything. So that's good. As you know, we have A weeks and B weeks. A week is on September 3rd, which is this Thursday. B week is on September 4th. I know that sounds funny, but we wanted to get both groups of children in the first week. It's exciting. They're new, it's kindergarten, this is wonderful. So that's what's going on with that. Also, since the kindergartners will be virtual students every other week, all kindergarten students are receiving iPads. If your child is a B week student, they will get their iPad on Friday, okay? A week will get it Thursday, B week will get it Friday. So as a parent, you say, so school starts Thursday, and my kid gets their iPad Friday. What am I gonna do? You will get activities from the teacher. It will be emailed to you as the parent. And there are going to be all sorts of activities, probably a lot outside. Hopefully it's nice, but if not, we'll have backups on that too. Things like take a nature walk, compare rocks. We asked in the spring some of our kindergarten classes as part of one of their science classes to find as many rocks as they could that were the size of a quarter. So they had to take a quarter outside and go looking around their house to see how many rocks they could find that was the size of a quarter. That does a lot of things. They're comparing and contrasting. They're looking at size. They can count, if you have them, then count them or whatever. So there's a lot that they can do that doesn't necessarily have to be online before they get their iPad. So there will be activities. There will also probably be some online activities if you have a device, but if you don't, it's fine. They'll get their device on Friday. Okay, so as a parent, don't panic. Is there anybody in this room, you don't have to raise your hand, so let me say it differently. If anybody in this room has a child that's going to be totally virtual, not coming in at all, virtual pickup of materials is tomorrow night from 4 to 6 p.m. So if they're totally virtual, tomorrow night, 4 to 6 p.m., all I ask is that you write their name on a piece of paper and that you pull up on the curb just like you would pretend to drop them off. I will come out, I'll see the name, I'll come back in, get the stuff, and bring it out to you. And it'll be done. You get to go away. Just when I lean into your car and hand you all the stuff, please wear a mask. Just keep me safe, but I want to keep you safe. So, that's all I have. Wait, you don't get to leave yet. This is a very abridged version because it's 2 days before school starts. But I like to end this with a book. And it's a book that has made my family cry. I like to do that to my family. And may make some of you cry. And if it does, I'm sorry. But this is how I feel about all of it. Typically I show pictures. I don't know if I can read, show pictures, hold a microphone, and be on camera. I might not be so good, so we'll see. It's called If I Could Keep You Little by Marianne Richmond. If I could keep you little, I'd hum you lullabies, but then I'd miss you singing your concert's big surprise. If I could keep you little, I'd hold your hand everywhere, but then I'd miss you knowing I can go, you stay there. If I could keep you little, I'd kiss your cuts and scrapes, but then I'd miss you learning from your own mistakes. If I could keep you little, I'd strap you in real tight, but then I'd miss you swinging from your treetop height. If I could keep you little, I'd decide on matching clothes, but then I'd miss you choosing dots on top and stripes below. If I could keep you little, I'd cut your bread into shapes, but then I'd miss you finding, hey, I like ketchup with my grapes. If I could keep you little, I'd tell you stories every night, but then I'd miss you reading the words you've learned by sight. If I could keep you little, I'd pick for you a friend or two, but then I'd miss you finding friends who like you who for you. If I could keep you little, I'd push your ducky float, but then I'd miss you feeling the wind behind summer's boat. If I could keep you little, we'd nap in our fort midday, but then I'd miss you sharing adventures from camp away. If I could keep you little, I'd fly you with my feet, but then I'd miss you seeing sky and clouds from your seat. If I could keep you little, I'd keep you close to me, but then I'd miss you growing into who you're meant to be. You're about to entrust your child to us. Your child's becoming our child, and we will do everything we can to take care of your baby, because your baby just became our baby. So thank you for trusting us with your child. It's going to be a wild year. I'm always available. I check email all the time. So please, if you need me, email me. What we're going to do now is take you on a tour of the kindergartners. I'm sorry if I made some of you cry. I'm going to ask, though, the teachers are working. They're here out of the goodness of their hearts. So what I'm going to ask is that, if you see your child's teacher, certainly say hi and stuff, but we're going to keep this brief, please, okay? Mr. D, are you willing to take a group?
Whatever you say.
Great. Who wants to go with him? No, we won't do it that way. Okay, let's do the first 2 rows this way. Go with Mr. D. Right out the hallway, make a left.
Okay, would you like me to end?
Yes, please.
Okay, you want to say goodbye to all your
Bye.
followers here?
Mr. Picarella, are you willing?